From News Nation headquarters, this is News Nation Prime.
Let's bring in our panel. That includes Republican strategist Matt Klink and News Nation political contributor Kurt Bardella. Thank you both for being here.
Thanks for having us.
We're going to get to the Houthis in a second, but Matt, let's begin with this latest in the phone call between President Putin and President Trump. What tone do you expect President Trump to take with the Russian president, and what success do you imagine he'll have?
Oh boy, trying to read the tea leaves of a phone call with Vladimir Putin. My Kremlinology degree has expired. But I mean, look, Donald Trump is going to have to be tough. He's going to have to. I mean, he's put himself out on a limb here by trying to bring both sides together. And if Vladimir Putin, bites off the hand that's trying to end this conflict, and Donald Trump, I think that it will further discredit the Russian ruler, and it will also hurt Donald Trump because he wasn't able to pull this thing off.
Kurt, I'm going to move to you in a second, but I want to follow up with Matt real quick. In a lot of these Truth Social posts I've been seeing from President Trump, he's using words like hopefully when talking about how things go with the Russian president. It seems a very different contrast to his normal bombastic confidence. Do you read that the same way as me?
Yeah, I think you're right, Alex. I mean, he is really, his tone is different. And I think that he is coming to realize what a lot of American presidents since George W. Bush realizes, that Vladimir Putin he's a slippery character and he's not as easy to deal with. And Donald Trump, well, he does have some cards up his sleeve to play if he so chooses. I think that the first thing he needs to do is to get Putin to agree to that ceasefire so they can start talking.
All right, Kurt, let's turn to another conflict. Looking at these latest airstrikes against the Houthis in Yemen, the administration says they could next hit Iranian targets inside Yemen, with the National Security Advisor earlier today saying all options are on the table. What do you see as this potentially escalating to, and do you believe that this should be America's next fight?
I don't think that America should start another fight until the ones that we're currently engaged in are actually concluded and have a resolution. There's only so many places you can spread yourself so thin. And I think when it comes to Donald Trump, we're dealing with this issue at home with the economy and the trade war. We're dealing, obviously, with Ukraine and Russia trying to broker some sort of peace deal there. Dealing with the Middle East and trying to broker, a long-lasting peace deal there. Throwing anything involving Iran into that mix, it makes me wonder at what point is there a diminishing return, especially politically here at home, when everyone is focused on the economy, their own pocketbook, their own cost of living situation. I think a lot of people here in this country might look around and go, Donald Trump, you're kind of taking your eye off the ball. You ran for president promising you would take care of things here at home first, America first, as it were. All of these forays into foreign policy, coupled with ridiculous things like I want to annex Greenland, Canada, renaming canals, it makes people wonder what exactly is his priority.
Matt, do you think that President Trump is doing too much, like Kurt is saying here, or is Trump right in actually escalating things with the Houthis and potentially Iranian officials?
Yeah, I'll challenge Kurt a little bit in the sense that this is not new. The Houthis have been doing this for years, and we're finally going to get, don't forget, the hundreds of attacks that went unanswered when Joe Biden was president. So I think that you're going to see a more muscular response. It's important. There's a choke point at that part of the Red Sea, which major shipping goes through there. That's why we have aircraft carriers there. So I think that he is going to hammer the Yemenis hard. And I think that he also should take out, if Iran has a presence there, they are the ones that are funding this. They're already weak because of what Israel did. It's time. We need to get this done and solve this problem once and for all.
Kurt, let's bring it back here to home and some of the controversies that we've been seeing right here at Capitol Hill. The spending bill that funds the government for another 6 months passed with some Senate Democrats joining the Republicans in passing it, revealing a divide among some Democrats and Chuck Schumer's leadership on challenging the Trump administration. Take a listen to this.
I still support Senator Schumer as leader, but I think the only way that we are going to be effective as a caucus is if we change our tactics, and we have to have a conversation inside our caucus.
All right, Kurt, what kind of conversations is Senator Murphy talking about here?
Well, let's be clear here. Chuck Schumer avoided a fight that Democrats, frankly, weren't ready for. The idea that they would be prepared, just from a pure messaging communication standpoint, to litigate a shutdown of the federal government in public right now, I have seen no evidence to suggest that they're up for that fight. Kicking the can down the road 6 months gives them that time to arm up for that fight later on. It also ensures that potentially Donald Trump politically is not as strong standing 6 months from now as he is today. So I think it was the right call. Yeah, sure, it was unpopular among some corners of the Democratic Party. You know what? They're going to get over it. They're going to row in the same direction at some point because that's really the only alternative that they have. And let me just say definitively, nobody voting in the next midterm election is going to remember which senator voted for a continuing resolution in March of 2025. That's just not a thing voters are going to be thinking about a year and a half from now when they go to the polls for the midterm elections.
Matt, we got 30 seconds left or so. Let's talk a little bit about the economy. We've seen it take a downturn. Obviously, the panic about the tariffs. What's your read on this entire situation? A lot of the Republicans echoing that point, short-term pain, long-term gain. When should Republican voters be frustrated with what they're seeing and the seemingly mixed messaging from what Trump was saying on the campaign trail?
Well, I know one thing. It's certainly longer than 50 days. Look, you're right. The markets don't like uncertainty. And I think that, if you sold last week, you lost. If you didn't sell, it's literally an electron loss. So just hold on to it. And the stock market goes up a heck of a lot more than it goes down recently. So long-term investing is the key. But again, voters react to certainty, and right now Donald Trump is not being certain, and it's hard to keep track of what he's doing.
Fantastic panel discussion on a variety of topics. Kurt Bardell and Matt Klink, thank you both.
Thank you.
Have a good one.